$21, $50,000. 408 acres. A great room with a full commercial bar, a craps table, a pool table, and trophy mounts covering every wall. 7 water wells, 8 ponds, an MLD hunting permit, a helicopter garage, a Harley-Davidson collection bay, a drag race car suspended from the ceiling of a workshop the size of an aircraft hangar. This property is not trying to be something. It already is. There is a red helicopter parked inside this property, not in a hangar down the road, not at a nearby airfield. Inside, on a polished epoxy floor, under a vaulted ceiling, behind an arched window that looks out over 408 acres of Texas hill country. This is the Underwood Ranch, Lampasas, Texas. That letter carved into the ground as you drive in, that's the brand. The Underwood brand, visible from the air. This is what a legacy ranch looks like when the owner decided there was no point holding back. The main house carries its weight differently from every angle. From the front approach, that standing seam copper roof catches the last of the Texas sun. Limestone-based, stucco upper arched dormer windows, 3 of them looking down over a manicured lawn that rolls out from the circular drive. It reads quiet, confident, not flashy. Then you get under the covered porte-cochere and the tone shifts completely. Tongue and groove wood ceiling above. 2 wrought iron wagon wheel chandeliers, the kind that belong in a hill country lodge, hanging over this stamped concrete entry plaza. Rustic live edge benches against the stone wall. Hand-carved solid wood double doors with a stone arch surround. Picture a Thursday evening. Guests are arriving. The chandeliers are on. The doors are open. You have not even walked inside yet, and the ranch has already made its statement. From above, the scale of what was built here becomes clear. The main house is the anchor, but it is surrounded by a full working compound. Multiple large-span metal workshop buildings, a dedicated helicopter facility, stocked ponds, pasture land, high-fenced hunting areas. The infrastructure here was not assembled over time as an afterthought. It was planned. Every structure on this property exists for a reason. At the lounge end of the great room, the energy settles. Deep leather seating, a solid wood coffee table with carved legs, the pool table visible behind. The trophy collection wraps around this section too, full-mount exotic game on the walls. This is the part of the room where the night winds down. Nobody is going anywhere. The kitchen was designed to feed a crowd and look good doing it. That curved island is clad in hand-laid limestone on the outside, the same material as the exterior of the home with a granite surface on top. It wraps into a bar seating section with enough stools for 8. The wooden columns framing the island give the space structure without closing it off. There are 2 separate sinks in the island alone. Beyond the island, the cooking zone is fully commercial. A professional-grade stainless range. A matching commercial vent hood above it. The full appliance suite built into the cabinetry, and if you look to the right from this kitchen counter, you are looking directly into the great room, past the bar, toward those hill country windows. The kitchen is not separate from the party, it is part of it, and this home has a second, fully equipped commercial kitchen as well, purpose-built for catering large events at the ranch. The infrastructure here is serious. The formal dining room sits right off the kitchen. An arched opening connects it to the great room, and you can see the kitchen through the wood-framed mirror on the wall. Solid wood dining table with hand-wrought iron chandeliers above. Leather and nail-head chairs. The stone detail from the bar wall carries through the corner. From this table, you can see into the great room, into the kitchen, and straight back to the bar. Everything in this house is connected. That is not an accident. It is how the space was planned. The formal living room carries a different character. Tray ceiling with recessed perimeter lighting. A full-height brick fireplace on the main wall, flanked by floor-to-ceiling glass display cases. Lit, curated, filled with collectibles. Red tufted leather wing chairs positioned toward the fire. Gun display cases on the opposite wall. Hand-carved armoire doors. The room tells you clearly who built this ranch. Every surface has a story. The primary bedroom is one of the largest individual rooms on this property. The tray ceiling runs around the full perimeter with recessed lighting built in. The effect is a room that glows from the edges. 2 ceiling fans keep the air moving. King bed with a heavily carved dark wood headboard. A full leather seating area on one side, tufted sofa, chaise, armchair. There is enough floor space in this room that the furniture barely fills it. Picture a Wednesday morning, no schedule. The room is quiet. The light is coming in soft. There's nowhere you need to be. The primary bathroom was built without compromise. The raised soaking tub is the centerpiece, clad on all sides in travertine tile, stepped up from the main floor, a chandelier hanging directly above it. a glass-enclosed walk-in shower with dark tile on the walls, a freestanding two-sided fireplace positioned between the tub area and the vanity, and in the corner a washer and dryer built right into the suite. The most practical luxury detail in the room, and the one you notice every single day, the bathroom has a fireplace. In Texas, that tells you something about what the owner decided mattered here. The guest bedrooms carry the same character as the rest of the house: solid dark wood furniture, leather chairs, carved headboards. Each one is a proper room with proper scale. This is not a ranch where the guest rooms were an afterthought. The property has additional guest accommodations in the barn dominium and foreman's house as well, so the ranch can host significant numbers comfortably. The foreman's quarters and barn dominium are not afterthoughts, they are real living spaces. Tile floors, full kitchenettes, dedicated bathrooms, proper bedrooms. If you are running this ranch with staff, they have a place to live. If you are hosting hunting parties, the overflow capacity is already built in. The back of this house is where Texas outdoor living actually gets used. A massive flagstone terrace runs the length of the rear elevation. A raised stone fire pit positioned at the edge burning, looking out over the pasture. Under the covered section, a tongue-and-groove wood ceiling, wagon wheel chandeliers, an iron and stone dining table large enough for a full group, a gas grill, and the hill country rolling out in front of you in every direction with no obstruction and no neighbor visible anywhere. The outdoor dining table has a live-edge stone centerpiece sitting on it. That detail, heavy, natural, local, captures the personality of the whole ranch. Nothing here was bought from a catalog and set into place. The covered porch looks out over the pasture, with the hill country mesa visible on the horizon. On a clear night, the stars out here are something else. Central Texas, far enough from any town that the sky is actually dark. The property has 8 stock tanks and ponds. This is the primary lake, with a proper covered dock built out over the water, composite decking, aluminum railing, chairs at the end, a fountain aerating the center. The bass fishing on this property is not a feature they mention in passing. It is infrastructure. 7 water wells ensure the water resources are independent of anything outside the gate. From the dock, you look back at 408 acres of your own land. Rolling green pasture, scattered oaks, the hill country horizon beyond. This is one of those views that does not improve over time. It is already exactly what it needs to be. Across 408 acres, the water resources alone tell you what kind of land this is. Multiple ponds scattered through the property. A long private lake along the west boundary. The land is diverse, productive bottomland, native brush, open pasture, rolling topography. It is managed land. The MLD, Permit Managed Lands Deer, means the wildlife program here operates under a formal management plan. That permit is not easy to obtain, and it goes with the property. The wildlife on this ranch is not incidental. Scimitar horned oryx moving through the wildflower meadow. Texas longhorns standing in the tall grass. White-tailed deer bucks, multiple at once, 100 yards from the road. Horses sharing the pasture with exotic game at the water. High fencing maintains the managed population. The property has been run as a wildlife operation with serious intent. The diversity of species here reflects years of active management. You are not buying land with deer on it. You are buying a functioning wildlife operation with the infrastructure and permits to prove it. The workshop complex is not a barn. It is a full-scale commercial shop. The primary building is a wide-span steel structure, the kind built with proper steel trusses and commercial-grade overhead lighting. Inside, polished epoxy floors, a full-size RV parked under the roof, multiple vehicles on professional-grade 4-post lifts, and a ceiling clearance that accommodates anything you need to bring in. This building was built for someone who takes their equipment seriously. There is a full drag race car, purple, named Plum Nasty, stored on a mezzanine level above the shop floor. Below it, a red vintage muscle car on a lift, a snap-on professional tool chest. The whole setup reads like a private motorsports facility that happens to be attached to a ranch. This is the level of infrastructure the Underwood Ranch was built to support. One entire section of the complex is dedicated to motorcycles, Harley-Davidson signage on the wall, multiple bikes lined up on the epoxy floor, Sturgis rally banners hanging from the ceiling. This is someone's collection properly housed, not parked in a corner somewhere, but given its own space, its own lighting, its own identity. There's also a dedicated hobby room, full workbenches, wall-mounted storage, an extensive collection of RC vehicles and aircraft, epoxy floor, proper lighting. Every pursuit that happens on this ranch has a place built for it. This is the moment that stops most viewers cold. a Red Robinson helicopter sitting on a polished epoxy floor in a purpose-built facility attached to this ranch, arched window on the side wall looking out over the property. Commercial overhead door for clearance. The walls are clean white panels. This is not a converted outbuilding. It was designed and built to house a helicopter. With 408 acres in an MLD permit, the uses are obvious: game surveys, property management, the ability to cover the whole ranch in minutes. But the deeper point is simpler than that. This property was built by someone for whom a helicopter hangar was a reasonable thing to include in the plan. That tells you something about the scale of ambition behind the Underwood Ranch. A few things worth naming clearly before we close. This property is located near Lampasas, Texas, roughly an hour from Austin and about an hour and a half from the DFW Metroplex. That distance is the price of owning 408 acres of uninterrupted hill country at this price point. For some buyers, that is a deal. For others, it is a factor worth weighing. The property has been deeply personalized by its current owners. The trophy mounts, the Harley collection, the RC hobby room, all of that reflects a specific life lived here. The next owner will step into infrastructure that was built to accommodate a very full existence. Whether that aligns with your vision or requires some reimagining is worth thinking through. And at $21, down from $23 million after a recent price reduction, the ranch represents a specific kind of value. Raw land in this corridor of Central Texas trades at meaningful numbers even without the improvements. The compound on top of it, the main house, the commercial bar, the workshop complex, the helicopter hangar, the water infrastructure is not land value. That is a built operation, and built operations are not easy to replace. 408 acres, 4 bedrooms, 4 full and 3 half bathrooms, a great room with a commercial bar, craps table, and 2 pool tables. Dual commercial kitchens, a primary bathroom with a fireplace and soaking tub, multiple guest accommodations including a barn dominium informant's house, 8 stocked ponds and a private lake with a covered dock, 7 water wells and a private power plant, high fencing, an LD hunting permit, a massive workshop complex with vehicle lifts, motorcycle bay, and a drag race car stored on a mezzanine, a purpose-built helicopter hangar, scimitar, oryx, whitetail deer, longhorns, and exotic game on the land. $21, $500,000. Lampasas, Texas. This is Texas. It knows exactly what it is. All right, I want to hear from you. Everything we looked at today, the commercial bar with the craps table, the helicopter hangar, the drag race car on the mezzanine, the wildlife operation with the oryx and the longhorns, or that primary bathroom with the fireplace, which single feature would you build a ranch around? Drop it in the comments below. I genuinely want to know, and if this is your first time here and you want to see properties like this every week, hit subscribe. We have more incredible ranches and luxury properties coming that you do not want to miss. See you in the next one.